Hey y'all, it is Grim here in Kentucky. Once again, welcome to La Grim Abode. I have before me a master contract between the city of Glasgow and Flock. I am logically assuming this contract is the same for every city across the board, and there are several things in it that are highly interesting. Let's get into it. First off, let's touch base on this real quick. These are the official minutes of June 26, 2023, when the city of Glasgow, Kentucky officially approved the flock camera system. They didn't, by the way. It was not even voted on. There was no approval. There was simply a very biased pitch. Went too far. Made by our police chief, and a representative of Flock was allowed to make an entire PowerPoint presentation. There was no opposition. Nobody was allowed to speak in favor or opposition, for that matter, and it has continued to be that way up until today. All of this is just basic bias. It's nothing but a license plate reader. Over here, we're getting into Amy Cornell's presentation. Like I said, it's nothing but biased information, some half-truths, a bold-faced lie that it's nothing but a standalone license plate reader. But what I found interesting, the city attorney, Alexander, from a legal standpoint, I might add that I was speaking with Chief Howie and the representative from Flock, and I was interested in this when it popped up on the agenda. I can just let you know that from a constitutional standpoint, searches and seizures that sort of thing, that has already been tested in our court system. In 2018, the Kentucky Supreme Court dealt with the issue of license plate readers and determined that it was constitutional. And it says from a legality standpoint, he has no issues with this. I have proven this unconstitutional, illegal, and immoral multiple times. But I think we have a little bit more information. So let's go over the master contract. Here we have the master contract between Flock Safety and the Glasgow Police Department. Apparently, main contact is Jim Fink at flocksafety.com. It even has a nice little paper clip. Very fancy. Alright, let's get into it. Company overview. We all have heard this before. It solves crime and it is a deterrent. However, I believe the statistic still stands. It's only solving 1%. Let's see. Here's some good stuff. It is a standalone license plate reader. Okay. This contract will discuss multiple times of a keyword being fingerprint. Vehicle fingerprint. It records the vehicle make, body type, color, license plate. And let's talk about, we're going to talk about license plate a little bit deeper for those in the back. It goes decals, bumper stickers, back racks, top racks. Alright. So a vehicle fingerprint is basically every bit of knowledge on your vehicle. Every ding, every scratch, every crack, window tint, wheels, decals, vinyls, you name it, everything. We're going to get into that later. But let's talk about the license plate section. This is a license plate reader. How would a license plate reader read a missing tag? If it's only a license plate reader, how can you read a missing tag? As far as a partial tag goes, I mean, that's an educated guess. We're comparing, let's say, the first few numbers of the plate to the make, body, all of that good stuff. It's still an educated guess by a machine. Because what if your car hasn't drove under a flock reader? The very specific car they're looking for can't be found because it hasn't been under one yet. So basically what it's going to do is it's going to find the next closest car. So when Johnny Law types in red Honda, no license, how many of y'all drive a red Honda? Red Silverado, a blue GMC. And they are going to come find you, and you will have to prove your innocence based on that alone. Anywho, here we have national and local sharing. I'm assuming that this is supposed to be a full list of people it can share with. But here in a few pages, I'm going to contradict that. Most of these pages are just legal jargon and BS, but here we go. Hot list. I know about this firsthand because I'm on it. So basically, if you type in information like was done on myself of vehicle make, model, key descriptions, personal information, you can be added to what is called a hot list. And it gives simple, digestible context to dispatchers and patrol officers responding to hot list alerts so they can act confidently and drive better outcomes. When you create a custom hot list, alert, case notes, photos, reports, other relative case information. So basically, a hot list, when you drive under the flock camera and you're on the hot list, it sends a very, very, very distinguishable ping from any other ping. And it says, hey, you're so-and-so. There they are. And they can do that to any citizen. You simply type in the information and you can add people to a hot list. Like me. I'm not a criminal. I'm not a felon. But I am a terrorist. We'll get into that. Here's more information on the fingerprint system. Like I said, the fingerprint system, the AI is putting all of your information into a box. It's categorized, and it's basically a case against you. So if 10 years from now you go and rob a bank, they're going to know what you drive, where you go, everywhere you go. It literally, they're making a map of everywhere you travel. And in a perfect world, that would probably be okay. But honest opinion, raise the hands. Who trusts the FBI? Who trusts the government? Who even trusts a mayor anymore? Local police, there's no trust. So we can just basically stalk you, track you. Here we go. Let's see, under the maintenance section. It's talking about service fees, yet there's stuff in this contract that contradicts that later on. In the end, Graham, buddy, it's getting windy. I need you to contribute. Thank you, sir. Alright, what do we have here? Now we're going to start diving into financials. So, at the date seen, it's talking about 6 units, $18,000. So the total that is yearly, $36,900. That's for 6, and we're paying for this. This is taxpayer money. You are paying the government to spy on you. But here's the kicker. This is 6. And I know for a fact we have at least 18. So let's triple this number. 36,900 times that by 3. Assuming there's, no less than 18. I mean, if there's 20, obviously we got to do more math, but at the present time, nobody knows how many there are. It's not like they're going to tell you. Billing schedule. Seems like an awful lot of money to pay annually when we were told Flock pays for everything. If anybody wants to watch my previous video, or now it's on my Facebook business page, but if anybody wants to watch that video, y'all see that the free word gets thrown out a lot. So here's the description of the Flock Falcon. And for those of you that don't know, the Falcon was basically one of the earliest models, if not the earliest model. And as far as hackability goes, it's been proven on YouTube. Man, countless people. It is within 30 seconds you can hack a Falcon. And these are basically the ones that are everywhere. Talking about fingerprint again. Here we go, the fingerprint search. Search local footage using the fingerprint technology, access vehicle type, make, model, color, license plate state, missing covered plates, and other unique features. Back to the custom hot list. Ability to add a suspect's license plate to a custom list and get alerted when it passes by a Flock camera. Let's talk about it. What do you have to do to get added to a hot list? We keep hearing about accountability. That word has come up so many times. There needs to be accountability. And that's true. The answer is nothing. You simply type in red Honda. That was obnoxiously loud. But anyway, that's all you got to do. You type it in, and there's no authority needed. You just type it in. And now you're tracking people. Let's talk about that. In Kentucky, I think we're up to like 20. Tennessee's probably about the same number. I keep tabs on these two places, but we've got people left and right who are abusing the system. They're stalking ex-wives. They're stalking. There's our beloved mayor who refuses to speak to a constituent. But all you've got to do is type in information and you get your own little custom text message saying, oh hey, Grim's on the move. We just saw him in front of Walmart. People are getting fired left and right all across the country because of how easy it is to stalk people, to harass your ex-wife, to find out who your ex-wife's dating. It's all over the news. I mean, research, Google. We are trusting people when they make it very obvious that they're not in it for us. They're in it for money and money only. Okay, here's a key word I found in this contract. They can archive footage. According to policy, they are supposed to disregard all information after 30 days. So how would there be an archive button? Does that make sense to anybody? Like I said, I'm not a lawyer, nor do I pretend to be. I'm giving y'all a second to look over paperwork as I'm flipping. Because a lot of this is just jargon. They could have simplified this to 2 pages probably. Back to the hot list. A digital file containing alphanumeric license plate related information pertaining to vehicles of interest, which may include stolen vehicles, stolen license plates, vehicles owned or associated with wanted or missing persons. Here's the interesting part. Vehicles suspected of being involved with criminal or terrorist activities. Okay, why is this important? Everybody's probably seen it by now, but if you haven't, go to Flock CEO speech. It's viral. It's got millions of views. The CEO of Flock literally calls anybody in opposition of any kind to Flock a terrorist. These are the people who own the cameras, not the police. The police don't own squat. They're basically renting our information to private companies. But he said out of his own mouth, even if you ping a camera on D-Flock, you are a terrorist. So in this contract, anybody who even asks a question, what is Flock, why is Flock, when is Flock, you are now a terrorist. Which, according to this master contract, they can add you to a hot list and just track the ever-loving snot out of you. And this is legal. Legal how? Back to the vehicle fingerprint. How can a license plate reader read a missing plate? That's theoretically impossible. If this is a license plate reader, how, pray tell, can you read a missing or even partial plate without guessing? Alright, now here's the really good stuff. Flock may use the services of one or more third parties. I had a stroke the other day. I really hate that I can't speak right. One or more third parties to deliver any part of the Flock services, such as using a third party to host the web interface for cloud storage or cell phone provider for wireless cellular coverage. Basically, that means your entire life story can be shared to anyone that Flock deems as interested. Whether they're selling it, whether they're renting it, whether they're showing it for free, the master contract of Flock clearly says all of your information. And let's talk about it. Everywhere you go, here's your car. This is your car. Whether you drive a truck, car, motorcycle, this is your car. All right, everywhere you go. See this road? It's making a map everywhere you go. It saves that map. It's over here talking about it can archive your map. And how do you make a map? How do you make a digital footprint? A vehicle fingerprint, excuse me. and it only lasts 30 days? That's a good question. It is bogus. Here is the scariest part. Upgrades to the platform. Flock may make any upgrades to system or platform that it deems necessary or useful to maintain or enhance the quality or delivery of Flock's products or services to its agencies. This competitive strength of market for Flock's products or services, such platform or system's cost, efficiency, or performance, or to comply with applicable law. Parties understand that such upgrades are necessary from time to time and will not diminish the quality of the service. So upgrades to platform. Let's talk about it. What does that mean? Okay. For example, it's been proven so many times in so many states, it's not even funny. Flock can make a back door. They can change their own programming, and they can add programs. For example, ICE. ICE was not on the list of people. They added them, and then they gave them backdoor privileges in real time. They used the Flock system to identify hopeful illegal immigrants. Keyword is hopeful. Just because you're brown doesn't mean you're an immigrant. So the system was programmed to find Mexicans. Where do they gather? Where do they go? But see, in a perfect world, that would be a good thing. I mean, I know it's a touchy subject, but at the end of the day, come here legally, and everybody would embrace you. We wouldn't be talking about it if it was so many illegal. But I digress. In a perfect world, you could use the camera system. Boom. Sit here and look for whoever. We'll stay on the topic of illegals. There they are. So now we've gathered that the vast majority in, town A, they gather at this location. ICE then goes and busts that location. But here's the kicker. They can't prove they're illegal. They're basically just looking for brown people. And then that gets into the topic of facial recognition. They, to this day, are saying they do not have facial recognition. Google the Flock Condor. So the Flock Condor is literally nothing but facial recognition with a telescopic lens and a very, very sensitive microphone. So if the technology is there, they can upgrade a platform. They can make that cheap, junky, hackable system that they've got, they can upgrade it at any time. Something to think about. More legal crap. They could have really simplified this to just a few pages. Talks about sharing data, but it's vague, very vague. Anonymity. Flock shall have the right to collect, analyze, and anonymize customer data and customer-generated data to the extent such as anonymization rendered the data identifiable, to create anonymized data to use and perform the services and related systems and technologies, including the training of machine learning algorithms. Customer hereby grants Flock a non-exclusive, worldwide, perpetual, royalty-free right to use and distribute such anonymized data to improve and enhance the services and for other development, diagnostic, and corrective purposes. Flock's offerings parties understand that the aforementioned license is required to continuity of services. Flock does not own and shall not sell the data. Okay, what are we doing with it then? They don't own it, they're not selling it, but they can gather it. And so, I mean, you're paying your city to spy on you. And not only to spy on you, to whatever you want to make of this, to give it away freely, to train robots. They're using you, your life story. All you single mothers, they're tracking you and your kids. They're learning where you take your kids, why you take your kids. Your life story is the vehicle fingerprint. Everybody you know, everybody you love, everybody you care about, they track you, they monitor you, they make a digital footprint, a literal map. Flock, I've seen it with my own eyes. It makes a literal map. If anybody plays Pokemon Go and you've ever followed a route, that's what it looks like. It's a digital map. It's on top of the roads, and it's just literally everywhere you've ever been. And it's even broke down by time. It'll say, okay, at 10 o'clock, he or she was here. Disclosure of footage. Once again, we're talking about third parties. Who are they? It's so vague, it just says third parties everywhere. You know, we can sell it to a third party. I mean, a third party is Fidel Castro. I mean, a third party is Osama bin Laden. I mean, anybody's a third party. I'm a third party. So this would be more concerning for citizens. You know, they have the right to change their fees. So basically, hey, 60 days, we're going to double our price. I mean, our towns are gobbling this service up. Taxes, talks about you've got to pay taxes, and you got to pay more taxes if they change the fees. All of these towns are signing contracts, and the contracts literally say we can charge you more. Terms, more legal jargon. Replacements, it's talking about you can get stuff replaced for free, and then it breaks down that if citizens or whatever go and destroy them, then they have the right to charge you money. So all across the country, they're getting cut down, chopped down, hammered down, shot down, stabbed down. So people are paying a little bit of extra money. Talking about ownership, Flock owns everything. Your local government owns nothing. Is basically how this reads. They're just renting the technology, but they own the technology, and they can do literally whatever they want with it, is how that reads. Still same. Alright, Graham, help me out here, buddy. Let's see what we got here. No agency, partnership, joint venture, or employment is created as a result of this agreement. Parties do not have any authority of any kind to bind each other in any request whatsoever. Flock shall at all times be and act as an independent contractor to a customer. It says they have to comply with local laws, which is BS because we've already established that these are unconstitutional. Therefore illegal. Constitution applies to every state, not just a few. Morality: in the event of a customer or its agents become the subject of an indictment, contempt, scandal, crime, or moral turpitude of similar events that would negatively impact or tarnish Flock's reputation, Flock shall have the option to terminate this agreement. Like I said, we've seen this all across the country. I want to say there's like 20 where I live in Kentucky of people who are blatantly abusing the system. They're searching who's my ex-wife dating now. And it's as easy as typing in red GMC, blue Subaru. And of course, if they knew you intimately, they know everything about your car. Right quarter panel ding. They turn on that hot list. Bam. They'll literally get a text message saying, hey, your ex-wife has left the house. Now she's headed to what we believe is Joe's house. Put two and two together. Joe's the new love interest. Here we go. And back on the subject of terrorism. Honestly, anybody who's even researching this is being added to the terrorism hot list. There's our geriatric and good for nothing chief. More legal crap, talking about insurance. Blank page. This is when the contract was made, there were only 6. So I know for a fact that we started off for 3 in the so-called vote that didn't happen. The mayor said, and I quote, "It looks like you had the money for 3 in your budget. I approved the purchase." That was the end of it. These were the chosen locations for the first 6. Making double sure that it'll fit on their pole. David is. All right, so recap. Vehicle fingerprint. So let's talk about that a little bit more. A vehicle fingerprint. So, like I've said in other videos, you got your little flock camera here. Thank you for volunteering. And it's looking at the car here. This one camera is not a GPS tracker. What it's doing is it is writing the exact grid coordinates of this car as it's in motion. Then you drive up to the next flock camera. This one is now picking up where the other one left off. It is writing, it is recording your previous saved and adding if anything's happened since the last camera saw you, like bird poop. A bird pooped on your window, now it's notating that, and then it's putting a hard location of your car. Now come on. It's common sense. It's called a grid. If you have camera here, camera here, camera here, here, everywhere, the camera itself is watching you in real time. The grid is literally putting your coordinates. Anybody who's watching can literally, the AI is predicting where you're gonna go based on your patterns. They are creating a GPS trackable grid network before your very eyes. And then you've got people like our town's attorney saying that it's constitutional and legal. No, it's not. What was presented in the PowerPoint presentation I could argue that it's not, but benefit of the doubt, the vagueness of the information, we'll just go ahead and call it legal. I will confer. It is on paper. If you have the bare necessities in front of you of knowledge, you would concur it is legal. But then when you have information such as an irrefutable master contract, and then you combine that with things that we already know, like the CEO of Flock saying live on TV, anyone in disagreement is a terrorist. Back to the hot list. It's on the master contract. They can give you extra attention, like they do me. There's a reason why every time I drive under a camera, I see black and whites everywhere I go. I was officially told I'm on the hot list. Just because I asked questions. I didn't even make it clear I was in opposition. I just asked questions. Just from asking questions, I'm added to a hot list. And then you've got all of the people on other sites talking about how they're going to cut them down, how they do cut them down, etc., etc. It's building a case against you in real time. Back to the vehicle fingerprints. Research it. Every detail, your mosaic as it's called, every intimate detail is recorded. And they blatantly say they're giving it away to third parties. Where does that end? Our local government doesn't care. They are satisfied with their 1% statistic, that 1% of crimes are better from our system. They're happy, they're content. Why? Because, let's face it, police have become complacent, lazy, more often than not, blatantly overweight. You don't have to do legwork anymore. You can just type in, you don't even have to be specific. You can just, I've seen many videos of leaked information from police departments where they type in very vague information and they get real-time alerts when it says in the contract that can't be done. This contract between Flock and the city of Glasgow, in my opinion, is null and void. We have proven it is so easy to track anybody you want. You're supposed to be able to only do it if it's a crime. Okay, then what's the hot list? Not crimes. Well, that's about all the information I've got. I can preach until I'm blue in the face. Research, people. This is Grim from Glasgow, Kentucky. Have a blessed day.